company that grows isn't the one with the best solutions. It's the one with the best marketing that truly connects with its audience. That's a quote from Sheri Otto and a sneak peek at today's episode. Hi there, I'm Kerry Curran, revenue growth consultant, industry analyst, and host of Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast. Every episode, I sit down with top experts to bring you actionable strategies that drive real revenue results. So if you're serious about growth, hit subscribe to stay ahead of your competition. In this episode, titled Founder-Led Growth, Winning with Authenticity in a Noisy Market, I'm joined by Sheri Otto, founder of Growth Lane Strategies. In today's crowded digital space, authenticity is the ultimate competitive advantage. Sheri and I discuss winning strategies behind founder-led growth and how to use the power of video and behavioral science to create demand-driven content that actually converts. We covered the biggest content mistakes SaaS and B2B brands make and how you can stand out in a saturated market without relying on AI-generated fluff. So be sure to stay tuned to the end where Sheri provides her expert tips for how you can amplify your authenticity and turn your content into a demand generation engine. Let's go. So welcome, Sheri. Please introduce yourself and share a bit about your background and expertise.
Hi, Kerry. Thank you for having me on the show here. I'm super excited to be here. I'm Sheri Otto. I am the founder and CEO of Growth Lane Strategies, and we help founders and SaaS businesses with content marketing for demand. So we don't just engineer content, we help them create it to drive pipeline and demand for their businesses. And in this era of AI, we really focus on human connection. We help people to really connect with their audience on a deeper level using things like video, using things like behavioral science, and what it looks like to grow in today's industry for SaaS and tech founders.
Excellent. Sheri, I'm so excited for our conversation. I know you and I first met because you were giving me tips and I said, we need to share this with the world. Yeah. And so talk to me a bit like how you've seen you've been in marketing for a while. Talk to me about how you've seen the landscape evolve to the point where you're like, oh, people need this. I'm going to start a business.
Absolutely. So coming from big tech, so with over a decade of B2B marketing experience, coming from companies like HubSpot or smaller brands and agencies, I've seen the same common theme across everywhere that I've touched. And it's really about how to create content for demand, how to nurture your leads, and how to kind of cut through the noise and stand out as a leader. So the company that grows isn't the company with the best solutions. It's the company with the best marketing to really connect with their target audience, to be able to influence them in the buyer's journey, and to be able to have efficiencies when it comes to their entire sales process. These are things that I saw that were missing in the industry. And with AI, content saturation is so saturated and people are just pumping out content, but they're really not connecting the dots to what it means for that content to translate into revenue. And so that's why I decided to begin a consultancy and begin a business that helps teach and create done with you programs or done for you programs to use these content pieces to really help accelerate that demand generation engine that really fuels growth. And a lot of that has to do with really that middle of the funnel piece of content. I think they say about most people who are in the consideration phase of the buyer's journey, they're looking for that middle of the funnel content. So case studies, trainings, that deeper nurturing that I see a lot of companies sort of miss out on because they go straight from top of funnel to bottom. And there's not that deep nurturing that happens. And so I'm here to help them create that and do it in a way that helps them be memorable in the mind of their target audience for sure.
Yeah, I love that. I know we talk a lot about the challenges for B2B brands today because it is, to your point, it's a buyer's market. They're spending more time researching, learning more about either
Mhm.
prospective vendors or just what they should be looking for. And so
Yeah.
this is such a huge opportunity. And I like what you said earlier, the companies out there that have the best solution aren't necessarily the ones that are doing the best marketing.
Mhm.
And I see
Yeah.
it all the time with like my peer set. We've been in the industry for 25 years, and we're seeing we didn't grow up with the comfort around video, being on video ourselves. And I see it. I see the people that are 10, 20 years younger than us that are capturing the market share because they have that comfort
Yeah.
of video strategy. And I've talked about this a bit with my peers, and I'm trying, with your help to get more comfortable. But so I'm really excited to dive in more into your areas of expertise. So let's talk a bit
Mhm.
about some of your kind of top tips and things people need to think about. So what are some of the tools
Yeah.
that leaders can use to accelerate their thought leadership in content
Yeah.
strategy?
Yeah. First of all, I love that you're talking about this, Carrie, on your platform. So kudos to you. And that is the first step. Like understanding that this is a trend and it's non-negotiable now. You've got to have a voice, you've
Mm-hmm.
got to have an opinion, and you've got to show up online. So some tips that you can do to start is just making sure that your LinkedIn profile is really just optimized. There's a clear headshot of you and there's a clear value statement, really short. So people come there and they know exactly the expertise you have or what you provide and who you provide it for. And then just beginning to understand like how can you create content or begin slowly to create content that positions you as a thought leader in your space. Because these new motions are coming up now. These founder-led motions and audience-led motions are going to be the winners here versus some of the old go-to-market motions that maybe we relied on in the past, because brands are fading out and people are really becoming the forefront of companies.
Yeah.
And so, in order to do that, I would suggest um, understanding that you already have your IP, you already have the goods and your expertise. You think about it, you write about it, you talk to your colleagues about it. It's already there. So,
Yeah.
what I encourage you to do, if you're thinking about how can I have more of a voice in this niche that I'm in, and how do I attract people with the intellectual property that I have, and so I would just say, just start to get your IP out of your head and onto paper. And the way you can do that is just with voice notes on your phone. I like to just sit down and use Google Voice typing, something super simple and easy, but I know the types of questions my audience are asking and I have an answer for them. I just want to like get it out there, and it doesn't have to look pretty. You just want to just share your thoughts. So just voice type your thoughts on a certain topic or question your audience is asking. From there, you can take those raw notes, those raw ideas, and use ChatGPT to format your ideas in a way that is that allows you to then share it with others. So maybe there's some three bullets from your ideas that are really impactful, and there at the top there's an intro or a hook, and at the bottom there's a CTA. So that simple format can really get you started with extracting your IP and then creating content, such as a video script or a post that allows your expertise to come out of your head and into the world where it can have the most value and impact. So that's kind of how I would say to get started. What do you think about that, Carrie?
No, I think that's super helpful. And to your point, it's like things you already know. You don't have to go
Yeah.
research a topic, like come up with your thesis statement and get it's already in your head. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's not already in your head, then that's not your area of expertise and you shouldn't be talking about it
Good point.
anyway. So, but yet sometimes I do use other tools to see like what's trending so I know
Yeah.
kind of where to prioritize. But I love that it's like you already have it in your head. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So I would say use tools to know like what are the search terms that are most
Yeah.
searched for
Yeah.
your niche. What questions are you being asked on social? What questions are your competitors being
Yeah.
asked on
Hmm.
social?
Hmm.
What are people typing in Google? You can simply go to the most questions asked section or
Hmm.
on Google
Yep.
around your niche. And like, oh, I know this. Well, then let's hear it because we're
Yeah.
here to hear. You're here to share your value, and your value can then be packaged into an offer that really can support your clients as well as have a value exchange and grow your business. So those are the areas that I would say really consider when thinking about how your IP can then connect to those commonly asked questions, those trending searches, what you're seeing and hearing. Yeah, just having a presence really with that and having taking up space and holding
Hmm.
space for yourself, I think honors your expertise because you've been through so much, you've had so much experience. So I think it's a really great way to honor yourself and your expertise by sharing it with others. And then honestly, like don't forget to have a CTA for how they can find out more. So maybe it
Yeah.
links to a blog, maybe it links to a longer training. Have a CTA for what it looks like, which goes back to Kerry, what I mentioned with content for demand, like content with a purpose, content
Yeah.
with like, you want to learn more? I've got this community. Come join us in this community. So thinking about your strategy for connecting more deeply, I think would be also really helpful too.
I love that. And you talked about kind of using ChatGPT to edit it. And I think one of the key points you talked about was scheduling time and making sure that you're prioritizing that time to carve that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the easiest ways that I've found to be really consistent with content creation for demand is to batch your content.
Mhm.
And batching simply. So when I started thinking about the concept of batching, like I actually struggled with it myself. Like I understood what batching meant, but I didn't really, I couldn't really execute it until I really understood that it literally meant instead of writing one video script, write five or write
Yeah.
three. And they're short, so they're just a paragraph. So just write multiple. And instead of just editing one, you're going to edit three or five. And instead of doing one blog, like that's how I do my newsletters and my blogs. Instead of doing one, I'll do five of them because I'm already in that sync
Yeah.
of these are the components that I need. ChatGPT certainly helps me format my IP. Like I use ChatGPT very much as an assistant for
Hmm.
formatting and for using it as a framework for other blogs or video scripts that I like. Hey,
Yeah.
ChatGPT, I really love this format of this particular blog or video script. I literally will tell it to give me that template. Strip the IP, strip all the details, and just give me the template. And I want to put my IP through that template. And I'll do that 3 or 4 times, and that's my batch for the next month. Right. So that's
That's
a really cool way.
That's perfect. And I totally relate to that. When we can sit down and focus, you're so much more effective and efficient with your time. And you
Yeah.
talked about different types of content that you're publishing, but tell us
Yeah.
why more about why video just really is the best
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah, so I think video is going to be something where the reason why video allows people to connect with you is because one, people can see and hear you. They can see your mannerisms. You can see my hands moving. You can hear my voice. And if you hear it again, it sort of triggers something in your brain where, okay, there's
Hmm.
familiarity there, and
Hmm.
there's that feeling of comfort there. Um, Video accelerates the lead nurture process. There's a lot of statistics and studies around that. And so I incorporate video in all parts of the funnel. So, like middle of the funnel training, top of the funnel short form, bottom of the funnel demo videos. Like videos really can do a lot for you. Another reason why I strongly, strongly encourage video creation as a part of how you go to market, how you show up in your personal brand is because all the social media platforms are really pushing video in their algorithm. If you pull the 2024 report from LinkedIn, it's going to tell you video. All these platforms are pushing video. And I say pushing video, they are giving more reach and impressions to short form videos. So that is 60 to 90 seconds. It will give you an opportunity to get in front of more eyeballs because the algorithms are giving you more exposure for these long form, these vertical short form videos.
Yeah.
Especially, Kerry, when you have a strong hook, which I'll know we can go into in a second. But yeah, that's what I recommend you do. I think that you and I will be working on some of that soon too. But it's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say before we even get into the hook is that a lot of times we think it has to be perfect and polished and our words have to come out perfectly and we have to show up in a certain way. But actually that's counterintuitive because people actually relate to you when you're not so perfect and you're just kind of being super authentic. That's going to have more weight now with AI having such a foothold in marketing and how you show up online. How can you be more authentic? Like you can share your stories, you can share your vulnerabilities. In fact, I'll push storytelling in video because that's how we connect. So don't feel like this has to be a perfect production. It doesn't have to be perfect lighting. It doesn't have to be a perfect setup. It could be your wall. Like people are just curious about people. And no matter how much AI comes into the picture, human connection, I think, equals currency. So make sure that you just try it and see the difference.
Hey everyone, it's me, Kerry Curran. If you're a B2B company that sells to marketers, whether you're an agency, MarTech, or AdTech, and your revenue is either flattening, declining, or just not growing fast enough, I can help. I've spent my entire career selling, marketing, and servicing marketers, so I know firsthand the challenges they face, the buying decisions they make, and what actually moves the needle. The truth is, most marketing strategies aren't built for revenue growth, but mine are. As your fractional chief growth officer, I'll bring revenue-focused marketing strategies designed specifically for selling to marketers, deep expertise in agency, MarTech, and AdTech buying behaviors, modern go-to-market strategies that include everything from brand awareness to driving loyalty and retention, and a track record of doubling and even tripling revenue for B2B companies just like yours. So if you're tired of your stagnant results and you're ready to build a marketing engine that actually drives revenue, let's talk. Visit revenuebasedmarketing.com or connect with me on LinkedIn to schedule a consultation. Together, let's build a smarter, more profitable path forward. RBMA, Revenue-Based Marketing Advisors, we're revenue-based marketing that works. Yeah, I love that. And it's right. I mean, some of your videos have been great. You're out and about, you're outside on a sunny day, you're inside, but it definitely, to your point, creates that human connection. It makes you a more authentic, advocate that they're learning from. So let's get to the hook. So I know that's sometimes the hardest part. So talk about the importance and kind of some tips for building a strong hook.
Okay. So we all know that, people are scrolling. They're looking for either to be informed, entertained, or educated. And we're just scrolling. And a lot of times the way our brains work is we're just scrolling on autopilot. So that's where your hook comes in. You're going to need a hook to stop the scroll. And it is what it is. Like you're just going to need a hook to stop the scroll. So I've heard objections to this, Kerry. I've heard, I talked to a colleague who's been in the business for 20 something years and he was like, I don't want to sound hooky. And I was like, okay.
Like that. Why is that a bad thing?
I was like, okay, you don't have to sound hooky or however you're phrasing it. It's just, do you want people to stop? You're going to have to get their attention. So and so to me, what I say to that is we're here to, with AI being able to invent basically anything under the sun, we're now fighting for attention, and the hook is going to help you stop the scroll. And I think sometimes the best ways to craft a hook and formulate a hook is to not only create a bold statement, right? So you're going to create a bold statement, but you want to create a statement that is easily consumable too. So people say like,
Mhm.
have a contrarian view, okay, or say something out of the blue, okay. But like, what I would like to say is, have a statement that you can feel there's a universal truth behind, or there is a boldness to it, or there's something that makes people want to stop and say, "Huh, that's interesting," right? And so there's a wide range of hooks, and I've worked with folks. There's like a whole psychology behind it, but at the end of the day, you want to stop the scroll. And what's little known is that the hooks that are easily consumable, like the shorter hooks, tend to do better versus like a long sentence. So I would say keep
Mhm.
that first sentence short. It's kind of like a little bit of a catchphrase or a little bit of a like a bite-sized, like powerful punch.
Yeah.
Those are the hooks that work. I think tend to work really well. I think one of the hooks that I had for a video that did well was we all need to create content to get discovered, correct? That was a hook. And that one did really well. Several 100,000 impressions on that. But
Wow.
like, oh yeah, we all do have to create okay, what's she talking about? Like,
Yeah.
um, or
Where's she
or
going with this? Yeah.
yeah, like, what do you mean? Like,
Mhm.
so questions. So the thing what happens with questions, if you ask a question as your hook, there's something that happens with our brains where our brains can't ignore a question.
Mm.
So, and
Mhm.
I learned this years ago. So if you ask a question, it is harder to ignore it because our brains automatically are inclined to want to answer the question. So
Yeah.
some of the questions hooks have another one was I was doing a day in the life video, and one of the hooks was you ever wonder, like, you ever were curious about what a go-to-market strategy looks like? Something like that. And like that one did really well because yeah, people like everyone has different opinions on what go-to-market looks like or
Yeah.
feels like. And so I was literally defining what I thought and like, well, I think it has this, I think it has this, and I think it has this. And that
Yeah.
one did well. So honestly, it's really about understanding your market and the themes that really draw them in or have a lot of questions around,
Mhm.
where it can be a bold statement or a question are really good hooks and easily consumable. So no like super long sentences, keep them really compact.
I love that. And that's it's such valuable and actionable advice to really think about kind of that hook and making it a question. And you
Yeah.
talked about you've had some videos that have had hundreds of thousands of downloads. So I know everyone wants to go viral, and obviously it's the goal, but you can't. There's no secret to just making everything go viral. But there are some things you can do to help your video content get
Yeah.
picked up. So what are some of your kind of
Yeah.
tips for getting closer to going viral or
Yeah.
just gaining traction with the algorithms?
Yeah, absolutely. So the algorithms are really focused on watch time. That's important to note. So if
Mm,
your video is going to be 5 minutes long, most people are not going to watch the 5 minute video. So you want to keep that video short because it tracks watch time. Inside of your video, maybe you can have micro hooks. Like you want to make sure that if you're giving value, there is some big payoff at the end. This allows you to align with how the algorithm works with watch time. So I was like, that's the biggest piece of advice I can give your audience, Kerry. It's just like, how can we keep them? How can we build tension? How to like, hold on, I got this. So I like to use a behavioral science principle called curiosity gap, or sometimes called information gap. What happens is you give them half of the information up front and let them know that the other half is at the end, but they have to wait to hang out for that piece of information. Then you give them the payoff at the end, and now your watch time increases. When the algorithm sees that your watch time is increased, it will push out your video to more people. I don't know if you'll go viral, but you will get more impressions. Yeah.
that's huge. And that, that goes just back to some of the I love that you're tying psychology into it. I was also a psych major, so I
Nice.
love the thought of really connecting to human behavior when you're building your strategies and activation. But
Yeah.
it's to your point, it's like goes even back to kind of the teaser. I love that. Like I'm going to tell you this, but
Yeah.
you have to wait, and getting them to lean in.
Yeah.
So super valuable.
Yeah, and you can do it without saying you have to wait. You can say,
Yeah.
listen, there are 3 go-to-market practices that are really shaping the market today. And then
Mhm.
literally for like the first If it's a 60-second video, you'll give them 2 in the first 50 seconds, and they're going to want that third one.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to want the third one doesn't come until the last 5 seconds or 10 seconds. And you structured your video in a way for the algorithm, in a way that gives them value and helps you get more impressions. So it's exciting to know how to do it, how to use behavioral science, and how to use those hooks to get them to stop the scroll. So I love doing it. I'm always like, okay, how did this one do? Like, how did this video? And some of them might not get as much reach, but you will iterate and you'll try these tactics. You'll test a few things, and then you'll stumble upon one that really that really shows you an impact and shows you the high performance as far as impressions are concerned. And what I would say to that is to replicate. You can use the same hook format. You can use the same text strategy for what works for you. So it's not like a silver bullet, but these are just tactics to get you closer that you can test for sure.
Love that. And so super helpful. So what is your best recommendation for people that are hearing this, they love it, and they're like, that's a lot. What's my first step? How do I get started?
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give some steps. Steps are great because I like steps. I like concrete. Like, this is what we do. So step 1, I promise you have so much expertise that we're not hearing and seeing. So just like come to grips with the fact that you're an expert and it's time to have a voice. And step 2 is just to use a voice recorder on your phone, or a notes app on your phone, or otter.ai, or voice typing to just speak your thoughts based on some insight that you have about questions or problems your audience is facing. So you know what your questions are, you know what the problems are, then create that. Carve out some time on your calendar to speak to 3 different topics or questions your audience is facing. Just speak to it, get it out there on a doc. Then take that doc, go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to format it with a potential hook, with some value points and bullets, and with a CTA, and give it some ideas on what your CTA and what your sales process or your engagement process might look like. And then refine that according to your goals. And then literally just start creating that. Create another day. So that was day 1. Day 1, you're just getting your IP format out there and formatted. On a different day, maybe 2 days later, you're going to film your short form videos. Batch them. Do not just film 1. Try to do 3. If you're just starting, do 3. If you've been doing this for a while, try to do 6. But don't just do 1. So we are going to practice batching, because you will become more consistent when you do that. And they're short, so they should take 5 to 15 minutes per video. They're easy and short, and we're not doing a bunch of editing. So it's just very more raw and real and authentic. So there's not a lot that goes into it. And that's the second day. And then the third day, I just want you to schedule it out. And that is your entire process from how you can create your IP, your video scripts, and your videos, and schedule that out. And so I'll be running. I've got a few scheduled this day. I don't even know what's scheduled, but it's out there. I don't have to worry about it. I'm doing this podcast. There's a video going out soon.
This is so super helpful, Sheri. Thank you so much. So how can people find you and learn more about you and your tips and tricks?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can follow me on LinkedIn, Sheri Otto. My website is growthlanestrategies.com. So you can be able to pick up some resources there. There are videos there as well, multiple videos, not just for me, but also from clients. And feel free to click through. There's an opportunity for a growth plan session that's free. That's also there if you want to dig into any of these tactics a little bit more.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sheri. I really, really loved our conversation. I know I learned so much. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope we can have you on again someday.
Thank you, Kerry. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're struggling with flat or slowing revenue growth, you're not alone. That's why Revenue Boost, a marketing podcast, brings you expert insights, actionable strategies, and real-world success stories to help you scale faster. If you're serious about revenue growth, hit follow, subscribe, and drop a 5-star rating today. It helps us keep the game-changing content coming. New episodes drop regularly, so you don't want to miss out.